This is the bell work for Monday, October 30th. On number 1 it says use the elimination method to solve 2x plus y equals 4 and x minus y is equal to 2. So this is a little different than what we did last week. On last week we were doing systems also, but we were using substitution. This week we're using elimination. So the idea behind elimination is we want to make a third equation that's still equivalent to the first two, but it's going to have either the x or the y gone from it, so we can solve for the other variable. And to make that third equation, I have to look and see if I can add or subtract these two together and make one of the terms disappear. So looking at it, it looks like if I add them together, it will get rid of those y's pretty easy. So let's do 2x plus 1x, we'll get 3x. And then y plus negative y is 0. And then 4 plus 2 is 6. So we'll get 3x is equal to 6. And notice how the y is gone. So this is easy enough to solve. We're just going to divide both sides by 3. And we'll get the answer for x, which is 2. And then we'll take that 2 and we substitute it in either one of the other two equations and we solve for y. So I'm going to take the 2 and substitute it in the first equation and then solve that one for y. So we'll do 2 times 2 plus y equals 4. And that's just going to be 4 plus y is equal to 4. So y has to be 0. And we'll get x is 2 and y is 0. On number 2, it's asking us to do the square root of 36. So when you do square root, you're trying to find a number that you multiply by itself to get 36. And that's actually going to be 6 times 6, or negative 6 times negative 6. But usually, unless they ask you for the negative answer, you're just going to write down the positive one. On number 3, we're evaluating when a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 4. So the first thing I will do is substitute in a 2 for a and a b for 4. So we're going to get square root of 4 squared plus 10 times 2. And then this symbol, this square root symbol, is called a radical. And what you do is you treat it like it's parentheses. So everything underneath the radical we're going to do first, and then we do the square root. So we're going to do 4 squared, which is 16, and then 10 times 2, which is 20. And then we do the addition. So 16 plus 20 is 36. And we know from the previous question that the square root of 36 is 6. Alright, number 4, we're solving 2x squared minus 8 equals 0. This is just like what we did on the previous week when we were doing quadratics, except for this time it's not in factored form. So first thing we want to do is factor it and then solve like we did last week. So looking at this, I have in both terms, I have multiples of 2. So I'm going to factor out a 2. So we'll get 2 times x squared makes 2x squared, and then 2 times negative 4 makes negative 8. Alright, and then notice how I have this 2 over here, so I can divide that away. And we'll get x squared minus 4, and 0 divided by 2 is 0. Alright, so now we have x squared minus 4, we need to factor that part. So this is the difference of squares, they call this. So we're going to get x minus 2 times x plus 2. And that's going to equal 0. If you work that out real quickly, you'll see why that works. You do x times x, you get x squared, negative 2x positive 2x, and then negative 4. And then these are going to cancel. So you get left with this. Okay, then we do like we did last week. We're going to solve each one of these two. We're going to do x minus 2 equals 0. And then x plus 2 equals 0. So x is equal to 2, and x is equal to negative 2. Number 5 is asking us to simplify negative 1/2 times 2/3. So in this case, simplify means that we want to multiply these two together. So let's look at it real quick and see what we can do. If you remember how to multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. But as a shortcut, what I can do is I can cross simplify. So I'm looking at this. I have a 2 over here and a 2 over here. So those can simplify to 1 and 1. And I can do that before I multiply, just to make my multiplying a little easier. So I have 1 times 1, which is 1. I have 1 times 3, which is 3. I have a negative times a positive, so it's going to be a negative. So we end up with negative 1/3.